everybody, and welcome back to the Ranch. Dr. Uptown here. Thought take you with me today as we do a little polishing on this Kel Tec P-11. We take the barrel out, have it, polish it up real nice, and then take the trigger bar out, polish it up so that it gives a little smoother trigger pull. Don't anticipate it reducing the pull any at all, but we are looking for just a smooth pull as we go back. As you may or may not know, with the Kel Tec, there is quite a long pull since it's a double action only pistol. You'll have to excuse my voice today a little bit. Hopefully it'll clear up a little bit as we go along here. Get some that phlegm moved out of the way and off my vocal cords, so we'll see how it goes. Start with, we're going to just do a routine field strip on this. As you know, we went through this the other day in one of my previous videos, and I anticipate the more often than we take this apart, the easier it's going to break down over time. Initially, we did do some polishing on the barrel. I'm just going to polish up a couple places that we didn't polish on that first pass. Then to get the trigger bar out, we need to take these 3 pins out, which we'll do. And that will allow us to pull the mechanism out of the middle. First thing we need to do, though, is release the spring tension off of the hammer. And that's done by lifting this out. To do that, we'll just take a set of needle nose pliers, kind of lift straight up, and then just release that in by that. Removes that spring tension, and then we just pop these 3 pins out. Go ahead and pull you in a little closer if we can here. And we may need a little persuasion with that. And get a couple of blocks here to put that up on. It's a little wood block with a hole in it. Worked perfect. These pins are just made out of the same material as the frame is. It's a polymer of some variety or another. Not sure whose it is. Okay. Once we've got that done, should just be able to pull the aluminum innards right out of the frame itself. We'll just do that slowly so that we don't have any parts go flying off anywhere. And it looks like thought maybe we could pull the housing all the way through, but apparently not. So we'll go ahead and just remove the little roll pin from the spring. That's keeping it. So that pin's out. That allows us to take that bottom side of that housing off of it. That spring can just hang free. Yeah. So we just slowly remove that aluminum housing out of the frame. And one thing you're noticing, I don't know if you can see it or not, but we're getting some plastic shavings out. Those are things that could certainly cause a bind under the right circumstances. So it's a good thing to get those out. Looks like all of our spring pieces are in place where they need to be. Okay. Let's see if we can lift that trigger bar out. We're going to give that a polish. Now, one of the things, previous videos I did see was a fellow was having a problem with the trigger resetting, and it involved this spring. We'll show you where that needs to be set up. First thing we're going to do is go ahead and polish this bar up here. Do notice a little wear on the inside of it right here, probably a little high spot on the aluminum during the machining process, and that's why we're going to polish this up, is make this piece as smooth as possible so that there is any rubbing on this section of aluminum that will take care of it. Okay guys, returning back to our project here. As you can see, we polished up this trigger bar on both sides, and we finished polishing up the barrel, particularly right down here on both sides. We did have some tooling marks. We still have a few, but we're able to remove most of those, and gave the rest of the barrel a nice high sheen polish. Now, as we're putting this back together, and like I say, we pointed out this spring about with the reset, the problem that we had earlier, and we'll show you where that goes. Now, one thing you're not going to be able to pick up on the camera is there is a small groove cut into this bar right here, and that's what that spring insets into. So as we're reassembling it back, we need to ensure that we get that spring over the top, and then once it's placed in there, back in place there. Now, since we've got that, we're ready to go ahead and just set this aluminum block right back into the polymer frame. And as we do that, like I say, we'll just ease it down in there. Make sure all of our parts stay where they should be. Alright, that looks pretty good. One of the things I have been reading on the forums is, I guess occasionally this extractor, this ejector will get bent over or break off. Sounds like it's a fairly common problem. So, just something to watch for. Same procedure, just be removing that from the opposite side. So once we've got our aluminum block back in the polymer frame, go ahead and just inset our pins back in place, and we drive them back in. They're flush, which is the way they were prior to our disassembly. Back one just seems a little. There we go. Okay, then back in with our mainspring block. Guess that's what you'd call it, a block, because it's not really a housing per se. Spring lined up with our little hole that it protrudes through. Take our small roll pin, put it back into place. Hopefully without a great deal of effort. once we've got that roll pin in place, and we'll just take our block up and over the top and drop it into place. It has our hammer spring in place. Kel Tec does not recommend dry firing these, so that's why I've got my thumb over it like that. Feels like the brake's in pretty good shape. Now, I'll back you out just a little bit here, and we will see about getting this thing back together as far as the field strip aspect of it is. If you rode with me the other day, obviously we had a little trouble getting everything lined up. I'm hoping that with the added polish, perhaps, everything will go together a little easier. Okay. Well, that did seem to help quite a bit. I don't know if I'm still, there we go. So still not quite getting the barrel as far forward as I'd like, as easily as I'd like to. Okay, but it is better. Okay, well, that does seem to have smoothed out the trigger some. Got the barrel to where it's significantly easier to install. If you watch my first video on it, you saw me fight it for quite a while to get it back together from the field strip. So, basically we're ready to take this thing out to the range and see how she shoots. Waiting on a couple of parts that I ordered from Midway USA to get in here. Some extra magazines. This has a polymer guide rod, and I have heard they make a steel one for it. However, the forums are not recommending the steel one because apparently the steel one tends to wallow this hole where the guide rod sticks through the front of the slide out. So I'm thinking I'm going to stay away from that. A couple other things I did just buff up a little bit is the sights on the Kel Tecs are plastic, and they're just vacuum formed plastic, and did have a few burrs on this one. So just clean those burrs up a little bit. Like I say, polished up the trigger bar, polished up the barrel, made a reassembly a lot better. So like I say, we'll get it out to the range and take some practice time with it and see how she shoots. Until then, I hope you guys find this interesting. We'll talk to you later. You have a good day.